I got a 6-inch cherries pie to eat. No, I don't have to eat it today. I don't have to eat it today. I just bought it today. But I might just eat it today. You know? Like, I'm not too full. I haven't had a lot to eat today. So, and it's only a 6-inch, which is like, a 6-inch isn't half the size of a 12-inch pie. I don't know if you know the math. I don't know the math, but there's no way that 2 of these will be the same as a 12-inch pie. This 6-inch pie is like 6 inches in diameter. It's like 3 times the size, a third the size, right? Like pie is involved, right? Like, I mean, like the letter pi. The letter pi that stands for the number pi. But that's involved. Not just a 6-inch pie, because it's like 6 inches in diameter, which 12 is half, but isn't like the area pi d squared? No, that's radius. Something. Or is the circumference pi d, and the area is pi r squared. So 3 squared, so 9 times 3 is 27 versus 36 times 3, which is 128. Yeah, that's more than, which half would be 64. And where do we go with this? 9. So yeah, not even a quarter, like a fifth. That's a lot smaller. That's disappointing thinking about it. I know what it looks like, and it does look a little on this, like this should have been probably a 7-inch would be fine, but like an 8-inch, I'm thinking like an 8-inch pie. That's what I wanted, I think, if I would have seen that. I didn't even know they did these. A 12-inch pie is, I think it's 12, maybe, I think it was 12. First of all, it's $21. It's not cheap. This was $10. And it's a lot of pie for a single man to eat in like 2 or 3 days. I think I did it in 3 days. But, yeah, and I didn't want to do that again. Yeah, I mean, I did want to do it again, but like I shouldn't probably do it again. That's what I mean. So I got the 6, and I think it's going to be too small. I'm going to be left wanting more. But it's probably never going to get any better than it is today, like as it ages. I don't know if that's true. And it's covered. The difference between the other difference between the 12 and the 6 is the 12 was laced. The top crust was like laced over it, like strips, where you could see the cherries pie underneath. And this one's a solid crust. And it's the worst of the entire crust. Well, the corners that are like squished into the pie plate part, those are the worst because they're the driest. And there's no flavor in this crust whatsoever. I mean, it's not cardboard. It's homemade, which is like, I don't understand how they could screw it up so bad. Maybe they aren't very good cooks. I don't know. The cherries are awesome, but I think it's probably just canned cherries, compote or whatever, right? Which is, that stuff's the best. You can't beat that. No chef's going into competition with compote. They just can't make a better, it's just not worth the effort. Maybe they can make a marginally better cherry pie with fresh cherries, but it's not that much better. It's not like getting apple compote or whatever the hell that shit would be versus real apples. No, it's not even, nobody would even eat that stuff. I mean, that's what, like, fruit pie the magician fruit pies, like that's what that's in there. That apple one of those. Could you imagine a whole pie of that your mom made like that? Oh, it's gross. But that's what the cherry pie is. But the cherry pie is awesome. Cherry fruit pie, the magician, the cherry guy, he is good. But the apple one's not that good. It's all right, but a whole pie of that isn't very good. But a whole pie of the cherry guy is good. But this crust doesn't have any flavor. It doesn't have any sugar. It doesn't have, it's just hard. It's just bad. So that'll suck. I'll just take that off like a plate covering. And maybe it keeps it fresh. Maybe I can lick the underside of it. The bottom crust is probably that same ass crust, but it's been soaking in cherry juice for like hours, however long. And it's soft and saturated with sweetness. So that's fine, whatever. It's a delivery device. It's sugar and sweetness. So it's a device to deliver the cherry sauce. The bottom part, but the top part doesn't have any of that. Put cherries on top of it, turn it into like a Big Mac with like the middle crust is like the middle bun. But then don't put the top bun on it. We don't want that crust. The bottom bun and the middle bun. And then just put 2 layers of cherries and we'll have it like open face Big Mac, right? You'll need a knife and fork, or a spoon. Really, all I need is a spoon. Just give me a spoon. I don't even need any ice cream with it. I usually prefer not. I will need some milk after, like probably a quart, if we're going to be serious. If you're going to give me a whole 12-inch Cherries Pie, then I'm going to need, I wouldn't do it in one sitting, so I'm going to need half a gallon of milk. And I'm probably going to go through almost all that half a gallon in the 3 different settings. I'm going to eat that pie in 3 different sittings. And I wanted milk every time. But I don't drink milk anymore. It's not good for my... Yeah, that's the thing. Got myself a cherry pie. A Cherries Pie. See, nice. But it's a small Cherries Pie. Not like the big one that I got, like the real size pie that I got a couple weeks ago, which is too much for one person to eat. This is a 6-inch Cherries Pie for $10, and it weighs about 6 pounds, which is a good weight, I guess. I mean, it's heavy. It feels heavy. It's not 6 pounds, but it's like at least a pound. It's heavier than it's heavier than a dozen cookies. You know how much a dozen cookies weighs? Not as much as this little pie. I don't know if that's a good ballpark standard for measurement. Is like a dozen cookies. Like, it weighs about as much as a dozen cookies. No, it weighs more. If you know what a dozen cookies weighs, like, it's more than a dozen cookies. I bet it's more than I bet it's close to 2 dozen cookies in weight. That's what my guess is. So you can imagine that 12-inch pie that I got like 2 weeks ago. I ate it in like 3 days, 3 plus. Like, you have to, I'm not going to not eat it. It was good. The crust sucked. I didn't expect anything though from the crust. And the bottom crust is good because it's soaked with the cherries, but yeah. But the cherries itself, which is what I paid for. That's what I want. That's what I wanted. And I got what I wanted. And it was delicious. I would say it was as delicious as expected because I have high expectations for cherry pies. But those expectations are easy to meet, right? So all they had to do was not fumble, and it would have met my expectations. And they absolutely didn't fumble. The crust sucks. But like I said, I had no expectations for the crust. I come from the best crust maker of the world. That's my mother. She doesn't make pies anymore. But yeah, so I got that.